Level 1. The wannabe. You are 23 years old. You just paid $400 for a 75-hour pre-licensing course online. You watch the videos at 2 times speed while eating cereal in your underwear. You took the state exam on a Tuesday morning at a testing center next to a pawn shop. You failed it the first time. You paid another $80 and took it again 2 weeks later. You passed by 3 questions. You walk out into the parking lot and call your mother. You tell her you are officially a real estate agent. She asks if that means you will be making money soon. You tell her yes. You are lying. You don't make money for a long time. You sign with a brokerage that advertised on Instagram. The broker is a man in his 50s with capped teeth and a Rolex that you suspect is fake. He hugs you when you walk in. He calls you family. He has called 200 people family this year. You sit through an onboarding session in a conference room with 8 other new agents. They are all in their 20s. They all look exactly as confused as you feel. The broker tells you about the company culture. He uses the word grind 14 times. He tells you the top agent at the office made $400,000 last year. He does not tell you that the bottom 80% of agents at the office made under $20,000. You will learn that statistic later. You will learn it the hard way. You pay your dues. The MLS subscription is $52 a month. The board fees are $640 a year. The lockbox key is $200. The errors and omissions insurance is $400. The desk fee at the brokerage is $150 a month, even though there is no actual desk. The brokerage takes 30% of every commission for the first year. You haven't earned a commission yet. You don't have one in the pipeline. You have a license and a stack of fees and a mother who keeps asking when you'll be making money. You print 500 business cards at Staples with your face on them. You hand them out at a coffee shop. The barista throws hers in the trash before you've finished walking out. You see her do it. You pretend you didn't. You door knock. You cold call. You sit at open houses for other agents because you have no listings of your own. You hand out flyers in neighborhoods where everyone has lived in the same house for 30 years and has no intention of moving. You go to networking events and stand awkwardly near the cheese platter. You eat too much free food because dinner at home would mean admitting you can't afford to eat out anymore. 6 months in, you haven't closed a deal. Your savings are gone. Your car payment is 2 weeks late. You drive for a rideshare app at night to keep the lights on. You don't tell anyone. You wake up at 5:30 a.m. to prospect. You stay up until midnight chasing leads that go nowhere. You sleep 4 hours. You do it again. You tell yourself that the first year is supposed to be hard. Everyone in the office told you that. You don't yet understand that 87% of new agents quit within the first 2 years. You are about to find out why. Level 2, the new agent. You closed your first deal. It was a duplex in a neighborhood nobody wanted to live in. The buyer was your cousin. He paid $185,000. Your commission was $5,550 before the brokerage took its cut. After the split, after the fees, after taxes, you cleared about $2,800. You held the check in your hand and you cried in your car in the parking lot of the bank. You will never forget that moment. You will chase that feeling for the rest of your career. You close 3 more deals over the next 8 months. A starter home for a young couple, a condo for a divorcee, a small house for a man whose wife just died and who couldn't bear to keep living in the place where she did. You learn that every transaction is a story. You learn that the story has almost nothing to do with the property and almost everything to do with what is happening in the lives of the people standing across from you at the closing table. A house is rarely just a house. A house is a marriage, a divorce, a death, a birth, a new job, a job lost, a dream realized, a dream abandoned. You learn the paperwork, the purchase agreement, the disclosure forms, the inspection contingency, the financing contingency, the appraisal contingency, the title commitment, the closing disclosure. You learn what each form does and what happens when one of them is filled out wrong. You watch a deal fall apart because an agent forgot to attach the lead-based paint disclosure. You watch another deal fall apart because the buyer's lender pulled the loan 3 days before closing over a credit card. The buyer didn't disclose. You learn that there are 1,000 ways for a deal to die, and only one way for it to close. The one way involves you watching every detail like a hawk and chasing every signature like a debt collector. You start to figure out what kind of agent you want to be. You watch the agents in your office. There are the listing agents who never show a property to a buyer. There are the buyer's agents who never list a property. There are the luxury specialists who only work in the high-end neighborhoods. There are the investor specialists who only work with people buying rental properties. There are the relocation agents who only work with corporate transfers. You don't have the experience to specialize yet. You take whatever comes your way. You drive 40 miles for a $150,000 listing appointment. You hold open houses for properties that haven't moved in 6 months. You take buyers out who don't qualify for the houses they want to see. You don't say no to anything because saying no would mean admitting you don't have enough business. Your phone is your office. You answer it at 7 a.m. on Sundays. You answer it during dinner. You answer it on dates. You answer it in the bathroom. The phone is the lifeline. Miss a call, miss a deal. Miss enough deals, miss your career. You sleep with the phone on the pillow next to your head. The ringer is on full volume. You wake up 4 times a night to check it. Level 3. The producer. 3 years in. You closed 18 deals last year. You grossed $112,000. After splits and fees and self-employment taxes, you netted $58,000. That's the most money you've ever made. You bought yourself a watch. Not a Rolex, but a watch that says you're going somewhere. You don't tell anyone how much it cost. You have a system now. A CRM you actually use. A sphere of influence you nurture with handwritten cards and birthday calls. A database of past clients who refer their friends and family. The referrals are gold. The cold leads are dirt. One past client equals 5 referred transactions over the next decade if you stay in touch. You stay in touch. You remember anniversaries. You remember kids' names. You drop off a housewarming gift a year after closing. A bottle of wine. A candle. The gift costs $30. The relationship is worth $30,000. You have a routine. You time block your mornings for prospecting. No email until 10 a.m. Calls between 8:30 and 10. Appointments in the afternoons. Showings on weekday evenings and weekends. You eat lunch in your car. You drive 30,000 miles a year. The trunk of your car is a mobile office. You start to understand the market in a way you didn't before. You don't just know the prices. You know the trends. Which neighborhoods are appreciating? Which streets get more traffic noise than buyers expect? Which schools draw a premium? Which builders cut corners? Which lenders close on time? And which ones blow deadlines every time? The license is free. The knowledge takes years. You also start to understand the politics inside the brokerage. Which agents will steal your clients if you let your guard down? Which broker manager actually advocates for you and which one just wants the desk fee? The office is a wolf den dressed up like a country club. Everyone smiles at the morning meeting. Everyone is watching to see which deals you're working on. Information is currency. You guard yours carefully. You attend your first conference, 3 days in Las Vegas. You meet agents doing 60 deals a year. They are not smarter than you. They are not better looking than you. They are just earlier in the same career. You take notes. You implement maybe 20%. You forget the rest. That 20% changes your business. Level 4. The top producer. 5 years in. You closed 42 deals last year. You grossed $310,000 in commissions. You netted about $170,000 after everything. You have a small team now, an assistant who handles your transactions from contract to close, a showing agent who handles buyer tours when you can't, a part-time marketing person who manages your social media. You pay them out of your own pocket. The team multiplies your time but reduces your margin. You are making more money and keeping a smaller percentage of it. This is the trade every growing agent makes. You have specialized. You picked a neighborhood. You dominate it. When someone in that neighborhood thinks about selling, your name is the first one that comes up. You earned that position 1 yard sign at a time. You sponsored the community 4th of July parade. You bought ads in the neighborhood newsletter. You wrote a monthly market update that goes to every resident. You held a Halloween event in the park with free hot chocolate and pumpkin painting for the kids. The event cost you $1,200. It generated $45,000 in commissions over the next 18 months. You list more than you sell. Listings are leverage. A listing produces showings. Showings produce buyer leads. Buyer leads produce more transactions. One listing in the right neighborhood can generate 3 additional sides of business if you work it correctly. You work it correctly. You have a listing presentation that is 47 pages long. You print it on heavy paper. You bring a hardbound photo book of your past listings. You bring data on every comparable sale in the neighborhood for the last 18 months. You bring a pricing recommendation that is supported by 12 data points. You walk into the seller's living room and you do not leave without the signature. Your conversion rate on listing appointments is 87%. The industry average is 40%. You have learned to negotiate. Real negotiation. Not the kind they teach in the licensing course. The kind that happens when a $50,000 deal is about to fall apart over a $2,000 repair request, and you have to find a way to bridge the gap without either side feeling like they lost. You have learned to read the other agent's tone of voice on a phone call and know whether they're bluffing. You have learned that the loudest party in a negotiation is usually the weakest. You have learned that the words you choose matter as much as the numbers. My seller cannot accept that price closes a door. Help me understand what you're working with so I can take it back to my seller opens one. You also start to see the underside of the business. You see agents who lie on disclosures. You see agents who steer buyers away from certain neighborhoods based on the buyer's race, even though that's been illegal for 60 years. You see agents who tell sellers the market is soft to talk them into accepting a lowball offer from a buyer. The agent is double-ending. You see kickbacks from lenders that aren't disclosed. You see appraisers who get reappointed to certain banks-approved lists by hitting the number every time. The industry has rules. The rules are violated constantly. You make a quiet decision early on that you will not be one of the agents who cuts corners. You watch a colleague get sued for an undisclosed material defect on a property he listed. The lawsuit costs him his license and his house. The decision to stay honest looks more valuable every year. Level 5. The team leader. 7 years in, you stopped being just an agent. You are now a small business. You have a team of 6, 2 buyer's agents, 2 listing agents, a transaction coordinator, a marketing director. You also still take some of your own listings, the big ones, the ones where the seller insists on you personally. Your team closes 140 deals a year. The gross commission is $1.4 million. Your share, after paying everyone and covering overhead, is around $400,000. The math of a real estate team is brutal. Your team members close deals under your brand using your leads. They split commissions with you, typically 50-50 on team-generated leads, 70-30 on self-generated leads. You provide the marketing, the systems, the database, the office space, the training, the mentorship. They provide the time and the hustle. It works when both sides understand the deal and respect the deal. It doesn't work when an agent on your team starts to feel like they're doing all the work and you're collecting the check. That feeling is inevitable. Every team leader has lost agents to that feeling. You have lost 2 so far. You will lose more. You spend less time selling houses and more time selling careers. You recruit new agents at networking events. You poach experienced agents from other teams. You sell them on your culture, your systems, your lead flow, your branding. You sign them to independent contractor agreements that are 30 pages long. Your attorney drafted them after watching another team leader lose 3 of his best agents in a 6-month period to a competitor. Your contracts have non-solicitation clauses and confidentiality clauses and lead attribution clauses. The contracts will not stop a determined agent from leaving, but they will slow down the bleeding when one does. You manage personalities now. One of your buyer's agents is a workaholic who closes 30 deals a year and constantly threatens to quit. Another is a single mother who closes 18 deals a year and needs flexibility you don't give to anyone else. Your transaction coordinator is brilliant and prickly and has burned bridges with 2 other agents on the team. You spend hours every week mediating disputes you didn't cause. You wonder if you would be happier just selling houses yourself. You can't go back. You have built something larger than what you can carry alone. The thing requires you to manage it. The management is the job now. You also start to think about the brokerage. You are paying 15% to the brokerage that signed you on day 1. Your team generates over $1 million in commission for them every year. They barely talk to you anymore. You start to wonder what they're actually doing for that 15%. You hear about other models. The 100% commission models, the cap models, the cloud-based brokerages with stock options. You take meetings, you compare numbers. You realize that the brokerage you've been with for 7 years is taking $200,000 a year from your team and providing almost nothing in return. You decide to make a move. Level 6. The broker. You got your broker's license. You opened your own brokerage. You named it after a street where you used to walk as a kid. You signed a 5-year lease on a 4,000 square foot office in a strip mall on the edge of the good part of town. The lease is $11,000 a month. The build-out cost $180,000. You took out a line of credit against your house to fund the launch. Your spouse signed the paperwork with a face you will never forget. You are 32 years old. You employ 24 people now, 18 agents and 6 staff. You are responsible for their livelihoods. Some of them have kids. Some of them just bought houses. Some of them left stable jobs at other brokerages to come work with you. You feel the weight of that decision every morning when you unlock the front door at 7 a.m. You are no longer just selling houses. You are running a business with all the things that businesses require: payroll, health insurance, workers' comp, general liability, errors and omissions for the whole brokerage, state licensing compliance, trust account management, anti-money laundering procedures, federal anti-discrimination training. The list of regulations governing a real estate brokerage is long enough to fill a binder. You read every page of every regulation. You hire a compliance attorney who reads them all again. The fines for violations are large. The penalties for repeated violations include losing your license. You take it seriously. You also have to recruit constantly. The brokerage model only works if you grow. Every new agent is another stream of revenue. Every departing agent is a hole in the budget. You attend industry events. You take coffees with agents from competing brokerages. You sell them on your culture, your training, your technology stack, your commission splits. You learn that the agent who tells you in the first meeting that they want to make more money is usually not the one who will produce. The producers are the ones who ask about the technology, the training, the systems. They are thinking about how to scale. The chasers are thinking about how to keep more of what they already make. You manage the office. You watch the morning meeting. You see who shows up and who doesn't. You see who is making calls and who is scrolling on their phone. You see which agents are mentoring others and which ones are isolating themselves. You see which ones are starting to slip. You have honest conversations with the slippers. Some of them get back on track, some of them don't. You let some of them go. Firing an agent feels like firing a friend. It is firing a friend. You do it anyway. The team is bigger than any one person. You learned that lesson from the brokerage you left. You still sell. You still keep a small book of business of high-end clients you've worked with for years. You don't have time for the volume you used to do, but you keep enough deals going to remember what the agents are dealing with. You sit on the same side of a closing table as they do every now and then. It keeps you honest. It keeps you sharp. It keeps you from becoming the kind of broker your old broker became, distant and useless and skimming from people who are doing the actual work. Level 7. The brokerage owner. 10 years in. Your brokerage has 78 agents now, 3 offices across the metro area. You closed $340 million in volume last year. The brokerage grossed $9 million in commission. After splits to agents, your company kept about $2.1 million. After overhead, after staff, after marketing, after technology, you took home about $450,000. The math of brokerage ownership is leveraged. You make less per transaction than you did as a top producer, but you participate in hundreds of transactions you would never have touched personally. The leverage scales. The headaches scale faster. You have started to acquire ancillary businesses. A title company that you own with 2 partners, a mortgage company under a marketing services agreement, a property management arm, a home warranty referral relationship. Each of these adds a layer of revenue to every transaction your agents close. The disclosure paperwork is meticulous. The regulators watch this stuff closely. RESPA, the federal law that governs settlement service relationships, will end your career if you violate it. You hire a specialist attorney. You audit your processes every quarter. You stay just inside the line. The industry is changing in ways that scare you. Discount brokerages are growing. Tech-enabled brokerages are growing. iBuyer companies are buying houses directly from sellers and bypassing the traditional commission structure entirely. The whole model that built your career is under pressure from 3 different directions. You read every article about it. You attend every conference panel about it. You don't know if your brokerage will look the same in 10 years. You know it will not look the same in 20. You also start to think about exit. You are 36 years old. You have built something valuable. The brokerage has a book of business, a brand, recurring revenue from the ancillary services, a recognized name in 3 offices. Larger companies have started reaching out. The franchise systems, the publicly traded brokerages, the private equity firms that have started rolling up regional brokerages. You take the meetings. You learn what your business is worth. The number is larger than you expected. The number is also less than the energy you have put in over the decade. You decide not to sell. Not yet. You watched a friend sell his brokerage to a national company 3 years ago. He took the check. He stayed on as a regional manager. Within 18 months, half his agents had left. The acquiring company changed the commission structure, changed the technology, changed the culture. The friend left a year later with a non-compete that prevented him from opening another brokerage in the metro for 5 years. He plays golf now. He drinks more than he used to. He calls you sometimes late at night. You answer the phone. You listen. You hang up and pour yourself a glass of water. Level 8, the regional executive. 12 years in, you sold. A national company kept your name on the door and gave you a senior executive role over 5 states. 800 agents, 23 offices. You report to a COO in Atlanta. You travel constantly. Monday, Charlotte. Tuesday, Nashville. Wednesday, Birmingham. You eat dinner with managing brokers in cities you don't really know. You give the same speech in a different ballroom every quarter. The speech is about culture and accountability and production targets. You believe most of what you say. You don't believe all of it. The business at this level is about systems. You roll out training programs. You consolidate underperforming offices. You make decisions that affect hundreds of people you will never meet. You approve terminations. You approve hires. You move people across a chessboard. Some moves work, some don't. You spend more time in meetings than you thought possible. The committees produce reports. The reports recommend actions. The actions get implemented or they don't, depending on the political winds that quarter. You miss selling. You miss the closing table. The moment a young couple gets the keys. You haven't been to a closing in 2 years. The work has become abstract. Numbers on screens. The actual human work is happening 5 layers below you now. You are the strategy. Someone else is the execution. You make $750,000 a year. You have a corporate credit card. Your spouse asks you sometimes if you're happy. You tell them you are. You're not entirely sure if you mean it. Level 9, the COO, 15 years in. They promoted you. You moved to Atlanta. You are now Chief Operating Officer of a publicly traded company with 28,000 agents in 39 states. Your name appears in the annual report. You make decisions at scale. You set commission structures for the entire company. You approve $40 million technology investments. You testify in Washington about antitrust litigation that could reshape the entire industry. The class action lawsuits come during your tenure. The way commissions have been structured for a century is being challenged in federal court. The verdicts are massive. You spend a year on calls with attorneys, another year implementing new procedures every agent in your network has to learn overnight. Some adapt, some don't. The ones who don't leave the industry or get pushed out. The consolidation accelerates. The independents are getting bought up. The discount brokerages are growing. The tech platforms are taking share. The middle is dying. You are running one of the large companies. You are responsible for which side of that future your company ends up on. You manage a leadership team of 12. Some of them want your job. You know this. They know you know this. You play the game carefully. You promote the ones who deserve it. You isolate the ones who are dangerous. You spend more time on internal politics than on external strategy. You hate that this is true. You can't change it. You start to feel the years. You are 42 and you look 50. Your back hurts. Your sleep is fragmented. You see a therapist twice a week. You take pills you didn't take 5 years ago. Your spouse has stopped traveling with you. Your kids are growing up in a house you barely live in. You miss recitals, you miss games, you miss bedtimes. You are providing for them in ways your parents could not. You are also absent in ways your parents were not. The trade haunts you when you let yourself think about it. You try not to. Level 10. The CEO. 20 years in. The board picked you. You're 47. You sit in the corner office on the 32nd floor. You have a driver. Your compensation is in the 8 figures. You run a publicly traded company. $4 billion market cap. 28,000 agents. Millions of consumers will use your services this year. You speak at the National Association of Realtors convention to 25,000 agents. You walk off stage into a hallway where your team is already telling you about a crisis that broke during your speech. The crises are constant. A discrimination scandal at one of your franchises. A federal inquiry. A class action verdict that forces you to overhaul every form in every state. Each one costs you stock price and sleep. Your board grumbles. You hold your position. You manage shareholders. They ask the same questions every quarter. You give the same answers. They are not your enemies. They are also not your friends. Their loyalty is to the line on the chart. You do not take it personally anymore. You make decisions that change the industry. You acquire a tech platform for $800 million. You launch a salaried agent pilot. You invest $200 million in a new brand. Each decision is a bet. Some will be brilliant. Some will be disastrous. You don't know which when you make them. You make them anyway. That is the job. You think about what comes after. You have made more money than your family will ever need. You sit on boards. Audiences treat you like a thought leader. You are not sure what you actually believe anymore. You step down after 7 years. You go to your daughter's college graduation. She hugs you in a way she has not hugged you in years. You realize you have missed something that cannot be recovered. You accept that this was the trade. You signed the contract when you were 23 in a strip mall office above a pawn shop. You did not understand the terms then. You understand them now. Somewhere in a parking lot tonight, a 23-year-old is sitting in their car. They just passed the state exam on their second try. They are calling their mother. They are telling her they are officially a real estate agent. They have no idea what they have just signed up for. They will learn. One handshake at a time, one signature at a time, one night at a time, and the parking lot will still be there.